Yes, sir. Yes, sir. RG in the building. What's going on, bruh? He said still struggling between the safety of Rome or Pickens upside. I think Rome has upside too, RG. Pickens has upside, but his floor is probably a little bit lower than Rome. Me, I would probably go with Rome, knowing that he got a safe floor and he got upside for a big play. I think the upside is not quite as George Pickens' upside, but it's close. It's close. Yes, sir. Hit the like button, fellas. YouTube. What's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And today's live is going to be on game day for week 2. I'm here for your starts and sits questions, and I'm here to answer, guys. Make sure you become a member if you want to skip the line. Other than that, it's going to be super chats, and we're going live for about an hour. So if that live start getting crunched, that hour, then you want to make sure you super chat or become a member to make sure you get your questions answered, guys. I see you, Mark. What's going on? Okay, guys, so let's talk a little bit about the weather. We're going to talk about the weather until everybody get in here. Make sure you hit the like button. Well, I see you, D-Lion. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the first game I want to talk about is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals. 83 degrees, good game. So I'm not gonna go over some of these games that are redundant. If they in a dorm, I'm not even gonna mention. I'm just gonna say good weather game. New York Giants, Dallas Cowboys, good weather game. They in a dorm. Chicago Bears and Detroit. Detroit is at home. They will be in a dorm, so we don't have to worry about that. Now here's a game we got a slight chance of rain. The Los Angeles Rams at the Tennessee Titans. 85 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's a chance of rain. I'm still starting my guys. It's only a 2% chance of rain, so I'm still starting my guys. Here's another game that has a higher percentage chance of rain. It's going to be the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami is at home, and it's going to be a good weather game. It's going to be 86 degrees, but it's 39% chance of rain. Now, it's not a lot of guys that we starting here. I know a lot of us are worried about Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and Tua. A-Chain, you still starting him. And the New England Patriots, I'm still going to start Butte and Travion Henderson. Those are the guys, and Hunter Henry and Drake May. Those are the guys that I'm looking to start in this game. Moving on to the San Francisco, New Orleans games. Is in a dorm. We good with that one. Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. 5% chance of rain. Start your guys in that game. What's going on, guys? What's going on, T. Looney? I see you, Ricky Bobby. I see you, Will Hayes. Then we got the Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is at home. Great weather game. We got the Cleveland Browns going to the Baltimore Ravens. Great weather game. We got the Denver Broncos going to the Indianapolis Colts. That's in a dorm. We got the Carolina Panthers going to the Arizona Cardinals. That's in a dorm. We got the Philadelphia Eagles going to the Kansas City Chiefs. 93 degrees in Kansas City right now. No rain. Now here's a rain game. We got the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. But guess what? They in a dorm. So sorry about that. So we're not worried about no rain in a dorm. The rest of these games is in a dorm, guys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Houston, Texas in a dorm. Los Angeles Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders in a dorm. So we're going to be good. We're not worried about any of these games. We got 2 games on Monday, too, just to let y'all know. So make sure you put those guys, take those guys and get them out of your flexes. Put them, get those, let me see, what was that? I'm sorry, guys. What's the best way? Because you don't want to have these guys in your flex. Put these guys in your flex in case you have to swap out somebody, especially if you have any injuries. Put them in your flex. That way you can make a move and play any position. If you got to play a tight end, wide receiver, running back, you don't want to have these Monday night guys in the RB spots and the wide receiver spots. Because if an injury happened, then you only can replace them with their position. So put them in the flex, these guys, for Monday night. All right, and let's talk about a little bit about the news before we get started. I see you, Big Will. I see you, Slick Nasty. I see you, Christopher. I see you, Kai. I see you, C.A. Jefferson. Yes, sir. Okay, so you guys, Jaden Reed. To me, Malik Heath is a guy that you should stash with this injury. Jaden Reed is probably going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. To me, I think he's going to be out longer. I think he needs to go ahead and get surgery on that Jones fracture along with the shoulder. It says he's suspected to miss 6 to 8 weeks after fracturing his collarbone in Thursday 27-18 win over the Commanders. So it was the collarbone, not a shoulder. So he needs to go ahead and get surgery on both, if you ask me. Brock Purdy, unlikely to return week 3. They talking about Brock Purdy might be out for 4 to 5 weeks. To me, Matt Jones is one of my streamers of the week. I love Matt Jones. Who? I love Matt Jones. I think Matt Jones is going to come out here and have a really good, solid game. Juan Jennings trending towards playing, so he should be playing. So that's more weapons for Matt Jones. Mason Taylor, the young tight end from New York Jets, is on track to play today. Krishan Jukins may eventually become the starter, but let me see what they're saying. It says who is officially questionable. He's questionable for today's game. So that makes me worry about Sampson a little bit, just a little bit. In full PPR, I love Sampson. In full PPR, I love Sampson. So let me see what they're saying. The Browns used their second round pick in April on Judkins. So he's questionable today. So he probably will play today. I'm not going to read a bunch of other stuff right now. We're just trying to see if he's going to play today. So it looks like he could come and get a couple snaps. So be a little bit careful with Sampson. Let's see. Any other news that we need to talk about that's going to be relevant to today? I don't see anything, guys. Just looking for stuff that's relevant for today. We're not going to go because I want to get to everybody's question. Let's see. Brock Bowers. Looks like he's questionable for Mondays, but I think he's going to play. So, Brock Bowers, I picked up Hunter Henry. I'm actually sitting down Hunter Henry. Even though I think Hunter Henry can outscore Brock this week, I got to play Brock. He's too high of a draft pick for me. I drafted him in the second round, so I got to put him out there if he's healthy, if he's active. But I do like Hunter Henry. If you needed to go to the waiver wire and get somebody, if you're worried about Brock Bowers, somebody that could back him up is Hunter Henry. So you're going to have to play Hunter Henry today if you're going to make that move. Yep. Okay, let's see what else. So Christian Kirk looks like he's going to miss another game from the Houston Texans. He looks like he's not going to play on Monday. Young Ho Koo, if you had that kicker, the Asian guy, he's not playing. He didn't travel with the team. Chris McGowan will not play this week. Ibuka. Let's see anything else. Jalen Pope got traded. The second round pick from last year's New England Patriots. He got traded, and he's going to the Saints. He's just going to be a Jag. We got a super chat from the one and only Sports PSP. Guys, go follow this guy. This is one of my loyal subscribers, guys. He has a channel, great channel. He makes a lot of content on TikTok and YouTube. Guys, go follow this guy. This is one of the hardest working people in the sports game. He says, accept CD to eat against the Giants secondary. Yes, and Pickens to have a good game too. I think Pickens can have a good game, and Dak is going to have a good game. Yes. Kevin McCleary. What's up, Kevin? Long time no see, bro. He says, morning, TD. That's what's up. That's what's good. 4 PPR, pick 2. Hill, Ted, Ridley, Dobbins. So listen, professionally, I'm not going to tell people to play Hill. Me, personally, I'm playing Hill, so I want to just give you those two different perspectives. Personally, I'm playing them in my leagues. Professionally, I don't want to tell you to play them. So I would tell you to go to Dobbins, then Ted, then Ridley. I'll put Dobbins over Ridley and Ted. I see you, Travis Looney. Yes, sir. Okay. We all know that Ja'Cory Cross-Kamara is going to see more opportunities going forward. We know that Austin Eckler is out for the rest of the season, so that's going to be good for Ja'Cory just to be a little bit, cautious, because I don't know if they're going to activate Chris Rodriguez and split this backfield. It's not going to be all Ja'Cory, but I believe Ja'Cory is going to be a good, safe play. Top 24, top 32-ish type back. And he has some boom weeks. He might be top 10 a couple times. Another super chat from my homie, Sports PSP. He says, I know it's boxing. Thoughts on the fight? I ain't watch it, bruh. I'm not big on boxing. I'm not going to sit here and cap, man. But I do know Canelo is tough. and he got whooped by Terrence. So we got to put some respect on Terrence's name because we know Canelo. Canelo ain't scared to fight nobody. And guys, give Canelo some respect. Canelo ain't scared to fight. He not just looking to fight fights where he's going to win all the time. A lot of guys, and I don't want to talk because I love Floyd Mayweather. He's one of the greatest boxers with the way he planned, the way he took the game to the next level with the money. So I'm not mad at Mayweather, but a lot of guys ain't fighting nobody unless they're going to win. They just want to go set up fights, make a bunch of money, and then go home as a winner. But not Canelo. Canelo will fight you. If you a top boxer and it makes sense, he'll fight you. He not scared. So I'm going to respect. I'm not going to talk shit about Canelo today. Because it take balls to go and fight and take a loss and not be scared to lose. Everybody want a perfect record. Guess what? The guy, a lot of times, if you don't have a perfect record, to me, some of the best boxers in the world doesn't have perfect records. Muhammad Ali, he wasn't scared. Even as an older man, when he was chasing money, he still, to me, he wasn't scared. He was going to fight Frazier. He wasn't scared. He was going to fight Foreman. He wasn't scared. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anything else, guys? We know that Austin Eckler's out for the rest of the year. I think that's it, guys. Anything else, just hit me up in the chat, and I'll look it up if it makes sense. All right. D Lion says, "What's popping? Here we go, Steelers." Mark says, "TD, start Ibuka or DK Metcalf? Standard scoring, thanks." So, bruh, that's a tough decision, Mark. Because both of those guys are stars, but I get it. Sometimes we have really good players on our team, and we have to make a decision. I'm gonna go with. This is tough. I'm gonna go with Ibuka. And listen, if you play DK Metcalf, I'm not going to chastise you. I know what DK Metcalf is. But I'm going to go with Ibuka because of no Godwin and Mike Evans going against a really good corner who's going to travel with him, which is, I forgot the guy's name, but he's a good corner. He's a top 5 corner in the league. So Ibuka to being on the number 2 corner, moving in the slot, I like that. So I'm going to go with Ibuka slightly over DK Metcalf. Will Hayes says, "What's up, DeAndre Swift or David Montgomery?" I'm going with DeAndre Swift over David Montgomery. And the reason why, my logic for that, is because DeAndre Swift has the backfield by himself. He's going to catch passes. Now, somebody might rotate in. Rashawn Johnson might rotate in. Kyle Managa might rotate in. But DeAndre Swift is getting the honey touches. So we want to go with the honey touch guy over David Montgomery, who's playing second fiddle to Jahmyr Gibbs. He got more carries than Jahmyr, but that doesn't make him better than Jahmyr to me. And I know we're not talking about who's better, but I just don't want to play a David Montgomery who I'm wishing to get goal line carries. I don't feel great about like he's a top back. DeAndre Swift, you should feel good in the first quadrant about him. Nobody's really taking his carries, and he has a former offensive coordinator who used him early in his career. So I like DeAndre Swift in this situation. C.A. Jefferson says, "TD, hit that like button." Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bruh. C.A. Jefferson says, "Thinking about starting Walker and Sharp as my RBs instead of Walker and Pacheco." I ain't mad at that. I might tell you to play Sharp and Pacheco, but I like the squeeze. I like what you're doing. That's cutting edge content. I understand what you're trying to get to. I think it's fine to play Sharp and Walker at the same time. Ricky Bobby, what's up, bruh? Travis Looney says, "What up, bruh?" Kai says, "Ibuka, Pearsall, and Henderson." I'm going with Ibuka. That's a good problem to have, but all those guys are starters for me. Ibuka, Pearsall, and Henderson. I play in a lot of 12-man leagues. I don't play in any leagues less than 12, so I want to be fair to you. But all these guys are starters, so I want to say that. I'm going to give that out first. But the best, who has the most upside, would be Ibuka. Henderson got a lot of upside, but that's my boom play guy of the week. I'm not going to just tell you to play him like he's already there. Well, Ibuka is already there. He had 2 touchdowns and got caught like 6 passes. So he's already there. Pearsall, I like him a lot. He's one of my starters of the week, but he does have a backup quarterback. So I want to be fair to you as a professional and give you the best data that I can give you. And Ibuka has his starting quarterback who's going to pass it at least 30 times, 30 to 35 times. So I'm going to go with Ibuka. Got a super chat from Rashik. He says, Njoku or Kelsey this week? Let's go with Kelsey. And I'm going to go with Kelsey over Njoku. I love Njoku. But Harold Fannin is there. And Harold Fannin is getting targets, and they use him as a hybrid. I don't think that hurts Njoku numbers. But again, the best professional way is Kelsey. They need Kelsey. Kelsey is a good player. Now, is he going to get 12 targets? Maybe not. But does he get 6 for 1 touchdown? Yes, he could get 6 catches for 1 touchdown and 50, 60 yards. So this is Travis Kelsey. He's still going to be used. So I'm going to go with Travis Kelsey over Njoku. Appreciate the super chat, bruh. Travis Looney. What's going on, bruh? Ricky Bobby says, yo, TD, Ibuka or Pollard? PPR flex. I'm going with Ibuka and full PPR over Pollard. Slick Nasty says, views on flexing one of Sheehy, Jonu, Calvin Austin, or Fannin. I'm going with Calvin Austin, and I'm going to rank him for you. That way you can make your own decision. And then maybe if I tell you the second guy, you like him better, you might be okay with doing it. Remember, I always tell y'all about that. I don't want you just to take my advice and don't consider what you got going. Consider what you got going, consider mine, and mend them together, and then come out with whatever you're going to do. That's how I would process it. That's how I process. I listen to other channels, right? I don't necessarily I don't copy what they doing, but I like to bring all the intel in. That way I can make a intelligent decision. So I'm going to go with Calvin Austin, Fannin, Shaheed Jonas Smith. So Calvin Austin is my number one. And listen, he has a low floor. He has a floor of like 3 points, 4 points, but he got a ceiling of 20-some points because he can hit you with a big play. So know that the safest floor guy probably would be Fannin. That's why I ranked him number 2. He probably gonna get at least 7 targets, catch 5, 6 of them at the floor. But the boom guy who can get you the most points is gonna be Calvin Austin. And that's how you win fantasy, by booming, not by getting a bunch of safe guys. Big Will in the house. I say Big Will in the house. Watch your mouth. What's up, bruh? Dan says Connor against the Panthers or Hampton against the Raiders. I'm going with Connor against the Panthers. Connor against the Panthers. What's going on, Big Will? What's going on, Valerio? Christopher says Keon or Jordan Mason in the flex. We liking Njoku today. I like Njoku today. I do like him. But I'm going with Keon over Jordan Mason. Now, listen, if you need just a safe floor, sometimes we don't need to go boom. Sometimes we got 2 or 3 boom guys. You might have Brock, Lamar, and Derrick Henry. You might have that on your team. So you might just need somebody just to make sure they give you a nice floor. The best floor is going to be Jordan Mason, but the boom is going to be Keon Coleman. So what do you need? You need the boom or the safe play. Jordan Mason's going to get 10 to 15 carries. He's going to probably get a goal line touch where he can score a touchdown. He could be a top 12 running back this week because of the matchup with Atlanta and also just being a really tough runner between the tackles and them trying to save Aaron Jones. So I'm going with Jordan Mason for the safe play, but I like Keon for the upside. MVM says, who should I start, May or Fields? Go with Fields. You got to go with Fields. What he did last week, you can't get cute on it. You got to go with him if you already had him on your team. Also, Henderson, Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, Mason, Sampson. Please pick 2. I'm going with Hendo. I'm going with Hendo. And Mason. I'm going with Hendo and Mason. Now listen, Harvey has upside, but he got to compete with JK. I like that you got both of those guys. You're gonna see who's going to take over this backfield. I believe it's going to be Harvey eventually. I love Harvey. Go buy low on Harvey if you can. So I'm gonna go with Henderson and Mason. Sampson is good. Maybe Judkins plays today. So Sampson's really good in a 4 PPR league, but I don't know if he's gonna get all the goal line opportunities. Once I see that, maybe this is the week. I don't know if Judkins plays. I would watch Judkins. If Judkins doesn't play, I would play Henderson and Sampson. But if Judkins plays, I would play Henderson and Mason. Appreciate it, bruh. Appreciate you being here. Sports, PSP says expect. I meant to say, you good, bruh. Kevin McCleary says more. Okay, we did that one already. GT Sports says Keon or Hollywood. I'm going with Hollywood slightly over Keon. It's not a lot of mouths to feed in Kansas City. I'm not worried about Thornton. And who else? There's Travis Kelce. The other guys are just Jags. So I'm going with Hollywood as a safe floor over Keon. And he got some boom potential playing with Pat Mahomes. So that's why I'm going with Hollywood in this certain situation. I love Keon. Keon is a start for me this week. But I also like Hollywood in a better role with no Xavier Worthy at all. Danny says T. Hill, Odunze, Javonte Williams, one flex, one wide receiver. I'm going with, again, I'm going to tell everybody, T. Hill, I'm not telling anybody to play T. Hill professionally, but me, I'm playing him because of where I drafted him. But that's two different things, my personal life and my professional life. My professional life, no T. Hill. Personal, yes. So I would say for his professional, I'm going with Odunze. I'm going with Odunze and T. Hill. I'm not playing Javonte Williams. I'm going with T. Hill and Odunze. Travis Looney says double tap the screen to hit the like button. Yes, guys, double tap the screen at the top. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. Mike 32 says half PPR star at 2. Quentin Johnson, Tyrone Tracy, Olave, Pickens, K9, Judkins, Shakir. Half PPR star at 2. I'm going with Pickens and Olave. I'm going with Pickens and Olave and half PPR. Olave had a lot of targets. Pickens has touchdown upside and half PPR. Quentin Johnson had 2 touchdowns. I don't want to just play him for the 2 touchdowns. I need to see it again. This is the guy that was very, 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 very volatile last year, who we all know that doesn't have great hands. So that's the reason why I'm sitting him this week. If you want to follow the 2 touchdown game, I'm fine with that. That's a great. That's it makes sense. It's an Occam razor. So go with the guy. You know he gave you 2 touchdowns. Me, I just don't want to bet on it. When I know players are volatile, I get off of it after 1 week. When you showed me patterns of that, he showed me patterns of 25 points. 2 points or 0 points. He showed, so that's the only reason. There, if you want to go with it, there's nothing wrong with that. Tyrone Tracy I don't know what they're doing in New York. I don't know if it's going to be Scatterbo, Devin Singletary, Tracy. The game script was terrible. I don't want to pick anything. Olave got his targets underneath last week. I like that. That's safe. That feels good. He's the number 1. He's the underneath guy. As long as he can stay healthy, I like that. Pickens, we know what he is. He got a couple pass interference situations. We know that he can catch one deep ball and get his fantasy numbers on that. That's why I like him. K9, I'm off of K9. I don't want no part of K9 because I just don't trust him. I think Sharp is going to take his position eventually. Judkins, I don't know. We haven't seen him play. Have he practiced a little bit? We don't know. Shakir is a full PPR guy. He's not a half-point PPR guy. So I'm going to go with The three guys that I think you need to consider is going to be Olave, Pickens, and Quentin Johnson. If you want to take Quentin Johnson and pick him over Olave or Pickens, I think that's fine. Appreciate you being here. Mike says, G, would you start Hill? I'm starting Tyreek Hill, but that's me in my personal life. I'm not going to tell anybody to do that professionally because I'm biased when it comes to Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill is one of the most special players. I don't want to mix that in there with trying to give y'all data when y'all trying to win money, right? So I'm going to give you the money answer. I hate to say that because, I'm keeping it real, but I just don't want to tell people to play Tyreek Hill and then Tyreek Hill has a bad game, and I'm not mad, but you upset, and I'm not going through that shit today. So I'm gonna tell you, you play Tyreek Hill at your own risk. You're not gonna use me for your clutch and be texting me all throughout the game every time Hill doesn't get a pass. So that's on you. Me, I'm fine with it. So if you okay with whatever happens, you know what that dude is, a nuclear energy. You know he can take one pass to the crib. So you got to be okay that he might not take that pass to the crib, and he might not get no passes. Maybe Tua goes out first series. Anything like that can happen when it comes to this Miami Dolphins team. So that's why I'm telling y'all to be careful and how you play Tyreek and what you expect from him today. Big Will says, best fighting cards in years. Mike Shamhart says, G, you like Tony Pollard over A-Chain? No, I'm going with A-Chain over Tony Pollard. I think A-Chain is game script proof because of the way this team plays. You see how he got his numbers last week. So no matter if they win or losing, A-Chain going to be in the game. So I don't want to just go and reach for Tony Pollard with a rookie quarterback. Go play the better offense right now. And I still think Miami is still a better offense than the rookie Cam Ward. Not saying Cam Ward had a bad game. Cam Ward, even though he didn't have the fantasy numbers, he looked good for a rookie quarterback that doesn't have a lot of weapons. D-Tate says, my bro, what's up? What's up with you, D-Tate? Sports PSP says, I'm concerned about C.J. Stroud and the Texas O-line. You should be. And that's why Nico Collins is struggling, but hopefully they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to they're going to have to trade somebody. They're going to have to do something. And the GM, come on, bro. You got to get somebody to protect C.J. Stroud. The Joe Burrow situation is not working over there. I'm not talking about Joe Burrow. Just y'all trying to go and get weapons instead of a lineman. That worked for Cincinnati, but it ain't working for y'all. So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. If you're in Dynasty and you got some patience, it'll be a good time to buy C.J. Stroud and stash him, because when he gets going again, when this team gets some offensive linemen, he's going to go back up to the top. But you're going to have to be patient. It might be a year or 2 years for that to happen. But that's what the situation is over there. C.J. Stroud is still a great quarterback. He just don't got the time, and they running plays that their team cannot manifest. You don't have the time to do that, bro. They coming, so you're going to have to run some short stuff. Let's see here. D-Take says, Bo Nix, May, or Penix, pick one. You got to play Bo Nix if you drafted him early. You got to play it one more time. And listen, I actually believe it's more than one more time. You got to at least give him 3 to 4 games. You got to give him a quadrant. That's how I would play it. But if you just want to go off a straight, any type of matchup, May got a good matchup. Penix is actually going against a really good defense, which is Minnesota. Bo Nix, to me, I think he has a nice matchup, and I like May for going against Miami. But I'm not telling you to play May. I think you need to play Bo Nix because that's the girl that you brought to the party with you first. So I don't want you to going around trying to ask for other girls' numbers, and then you get let down. And then if the girls see you asking other girls for the numbers, you ain't dancing with no girls at the party no more. Everybody's going to leave, and you're going to have to go home by yourself. So make that decision, bro. Kevin says, thanks, TD. Don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all. Yes, subscribe to the channel. This is cutting-edge content. You're not going to get nobody out doing a vertical live with no editing. And I'm just, this is my barbershop. And I like to give my barber, give him publicity. Because, he's cool, man. I've been getting my hair cut. I've been knowing him over 20-some years. I've been getting my hair cut here a long time. So I like to do lives here. So you're not going to get this type of personal content where I'm just breaking it out. I'm not acting like a robot. Not saying other channels are robotic, but this is just straight fantasy vlogging, stars and sits. I think that's cutting edge content as itself. Keeping it real. That's what makes it cutting edge. D takes his Pickens, or I don't know who that other guy is. Is that Odunze? I would probably go with Odunze over Pickens today. Deal Devoted said, let's go, TD. Yes, sir. Great live. Get the likes up, fellas. Yes, sir. Deal Devoted. Don Mega Mayweather says, Juan Johnson versus Britton Strange. I choose JJ for the targets. I chose JJ for the targets. I got you. I understand that. That makes sense. I like Britton Strange for the touchdown upside, kind of like you're saying, but you're right. I do think JJ gets more targets because it's not that many weapons outside of Olave. Shaheed is not a target volume type guy. So that makes sense in a full PPR league. I ain't got nothing to say about that. I understand your logic. It's not about, I would probably play Britton Strange, but it's not about who I'm going to play. You made sense with your play. Like, that's why I'm never going to tell y'all what to do. If you got a logic for what you're doing, who am I to tell you not to play that? Now, if you're just going off of something just because you just want to go on it, I might chastise you a little bit or disagree, and you still could be right. So it's fantasy, man. I respect that with JJ. MVM says, Joni Smith, Strange, or Hannon Jr., please pick one. I like Strange. I like the touchdown upside, and I think he's safe too. So I'm going to go with Strange over Hannon and Jonah. But if Fannin gets that another volume target share like he did and goes off, we might have to recalibrate and see what's going on. Big Will says J-Mo versus Chicago, Ibuka versus Houston. I'm going with Ibuka versus Houston on the number 2 corner. Black Banks in the building. Chef Boy says, I'm tuned in, bruh. Need the inside scoop of the day. Yes, sir. Martin Castillo says, bruh, start Patrick or Kyler Murray. Go with start Patrick. I would start Patrick. Manuel Flores says, good morning, TD. Diggs or Waddle? I'm going to have to go with Diggs over Waddle, man. I can't play nobody on the Miami offense, especially outside of Tyreek and A-Chain. I can't do it. Bike Walker says, what's up? Full PPR, one running back. Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, Pacheco, Sampson, one flex, Hollywood Brown or Pickens. I'm going with Hollywood Brown over Pickens. And the running back that I would play would be Sampson if Junkins doesn't play. If Junkins plays, I would go with Shard. Frank Luke says, Njoku scoring a touchdown today. I believe so too, bruh. I believe so too. D-Take says, pick one, Penix, May, or Knicks. I think you got to go with Knicks. You got to dance with the girl that you came to the party with over May, who has a great matchup. I see you, Rashid. D-Take says, Pickens or Odunze. I'm going with Odunze. Don Merriweather says, in a 3-wide receiver, 2 flex league, I'm starting Tillman and Fannin. There's nothing wrong with that. Martin Castillo says Strange or Kincaid. I'm going to go with Strange over Kincaid. Neither one of them is bad. Kincaid is attached to Josh Allen, so he should have a touchdown today because just as to what the tight end occupies, and everybody's going to be worried about Josh Allen and James Cook. So I like Kincaid, but I like Strange better in a vacuum. I think Strange got touchdown upside. Everybody's going to be trying to take away that run game and Brian Thomas Jr. and a little bit of Travis Hunter. So Strange, people ain't worried about him, but he's going to get targets because he's a safe target. And Liam Cohen is his coach. And we know what Liam Cohen does for the tight end position. So I'm going to go with Strange. But if you play Kincaid, I don't have anything to say about that. Black Banks says Tillman or Sampson. I'm leaning towards Tillman due to them playing the Ravens. They will need to throw the ball. I agree with that. But also throwing the ball, Sampson's going to catch a lot of PPR points too coming out the backfield. They did that last week. But the thing is Junkins plays. If Junkins plays, it makes it nasty, and so I would want to play Tillman. CXB says start, sit, DST, coach defense, or Seattle defense. Okay, there we go. My computer was messing up. All right, let me see, bro. Let me look. Make sure I'm looking at the Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, my computer was loading up. All right. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it's going so slow. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. And then he said Seahawks or the coach. Out of those two defenses, bro, I don't like neither one of them, but I would probably go with. I would probably go with the Colts. I'll probably go with the Colts. I don't like neither one of them, but I would probably go with the Colts if I had to. What's going on, bro? Good morning. Slick Nasty says, smash the like button. Thanks, bro. Anytime. Aaron Holloway says, good morning, TD. Good morning, bro. The professor says, Mark Andrews or Fanning Jr. I'm going with Fanning Jr. over Mark Andrews. Dante Kelsey says, hey, TD, should I flex DK Metcalf, Tillman, or Javonte Williams or Hollywood Brown? I'm going to go with Hollywood in this situation because I don't believe they have enough wide receivers. And so Hollywood is probably the 8-catch, 100-yard type guy. I think he's going to get a lot of targets today. Aaron Holloway says, if Rondell doesn't go, should I go with Amena? No. I would try to find somebody else, Aaron Holloway. Justin Vetter says, PPR, Pickens or Hunter? Thanks, bro. I'm going with Pickens over Hunter. Castillo, he says, Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs, Swift or Pittman? I'm going with Swift over all those guys. Jeff says, Hendo going to eat today. I hope so, bro. Jeff says, trying to decide either Judkins or Sampson. Great show. Thank you, bro. Who knows? I would probably go with Sampson for the PPR points. Dragonheart says, deep stash, Chris Rodriguez Jr. or Brashard Smith. I will go with Chris Rodriguez Jr. Karen says, Charbonnet or Hampton. I'm going with... I say Hampton slightly Hampton with the defense going up against the Pittsburgh defense. I would go with Hampton slightly. Dakota says, should I flex Jalen Warren or Hollywood Brown? I'm going with Hollywood Brown over Jalen. Free the hostage says Marv or Emeka in the flex. I'm going with I'm going to go with Marv, man. You got to go with Marv over Emeka. That's two. You can't sit Marv. I like Emeka in a vacuum over Marv because Emeka, I think he's going to he got a special role in a good offense, but you can't sit Marv. I mean, I just don't think that's fantasy. I'm not going to sit Jamar Chase for Quentin Johnson, right? Just because Quentin Johnson he's got a good game, then I'm going to sit a stud. I'm not going to sit no stud. You drafted Marvin Harrison first. Now, if you did and you have to pick, you actually picked him up or something, then that's a little different. But I don't believe in being too cute and sitting number one wide receivers that are young and getting the targets. Like, it ain't like something's wrong with him and he's old. It's like this is a young guy that they want to get targets and he got the pedigree and the draft capital. So I'm not going to tell you to sit Marv. But both of those guys are starters. So I would start Marv over Emeka, but Emeka's going to have a good game too. We don't know how many points. We just know they're going to have good games. That's the only thing we can calibrate. Sports Dog says TD 118 PPR Superflex. I'm flexing Keenan Allen and Jamison Williams, and I'm using CMC and Kamara in my running back spot, but I'm sitting Jalen Warren. What do you think? I'm flexing Keenan Allen and Jameson Williams. I'm using CMC and Kamara. Yeah, I would sit Jalen Warren out of those guys. I would sit Jalen Warren out of all those guys. JC says Thielen, Juju, or Tracy. I'm going with Juju slightly over Tracy. UN asks, who gets more receptions today, Tyreek Hill or A.J. Brown? I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. Miami looks terrible, so I'm going with A.J. Brown. That little bro says, do you think Justin Jefferson is the best? I think far as his numbers, yes, he's the best. Far as on the field, I think Tyreek is better than him. I think Tyreek is the #1 wide receiver in the league far as fear, scoring from anywhere on the field. That's what my #1 wide receiver would be, or player or whatever. But Justin Jefferson, far as stats, is the best wide receiver that we probably ever saw play for his first 4 or 5 years. Eddie Phillips, what's up? He said, what's up, bro? Need a tight end half PPR, Ingram, Henry, or Fannin? I'm going with Henry for the touchdown upside and half PPR. One Flock says Tyrone Tracy or Pacheco. I'm going to go with Pacheco over Tyrone Tracy. That little bro says, what's your NFL team? The Dallas Cowboys. All right, got another super chat in here from Mike Shamhart. He says, G, can we get a stars and stripes for Charlie? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guys, that was I don't never want to say, I don't care who you are. As a human being, it's not all about ourselves. I can walk in other people's shoes to a little bit. I'm not perfect, but I don't believe nobody should be dying just because of what he said. So let me tell you something. I went to a 98% Caucasian school. And you know what my school used to be called? You can look it up. The name of my school was Southern Alamance in North Carolina. And go look back up in the 70s what they used to be called. They used to be called the Confederates. And if you fly over my school, it's a Confederate flag. So, and a lot of the teachers their parents taught there, and then their parents taught there, and their parents taught there. So it was rough. And I had guys that I thought was my friends, they would have bad days and say very, racially profiled stuff. And I would be mad and we wouldn't be friends anymore. But I had to learn as I got older, you know what, man, let a person be able to speak their mind. I don't care if you're a man, female, alphabet, it doesn't matter. Let a person speak their mind. And if they want to say, I don't like that person because of their skin color, that's cool. Or I don't think we get reparations, that's cool. But as far as you think that people should die because they don't want to give you a hug, you are wrong. You have to recalibrate. I don't care if a person says, hey, I don't like you because of your color, and you run around with your pants sagging and you look weird and you look at your hairstyle. I don't care. That's their opinion. Now, I'm going to chastise you. We can go back and forth, but I don't want to kill you over that. So that's what I'm going to say about this. So I hope Charlie and his kids, I want to pray for his kids because that's who's going to get the brute force of all of this. Let me see. Let me go back up a little bit. Big Wheel says, is Houston fault for trading their best left tackle? What is they thinking, bro? That is crazy. That's crazy. I agree with you, Big Wheel. Lund Duck. He says Montgomery or Hollywood Brown. I'm going with Hollywood Brown and the Fox. Eddie Phillips says need 3 wide receivers, PPR, Neighbors, Collins, Ted, Emeka, and Keenan Allen. That's a great question, man. I'm going with Neighbors, Collins, and Emeka. In the flex. Okay, I got you. 215 says, Dayum Hair. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Sport Dog says, TD 18 PPR Superflex using Drake London and George Pickens in my wide receiver spot. My bench wide receivers are Shaheed, Shakir, Butte, or Keon Coleman. I would play Butte or Coleman over Pickens. Coleman and Pickens is kind of the same, But I would start Butte. That's me. That's me personally. I'm not telling you to do that, but that's what I'm doing. I got Butte in all my lineups today. I got Butte in all my lineups today. Jacob says Dak or McCarthy. I'm going with Dak over McCarthy. Robert Christensen says, why am I playing Fields over Mahomes? Feels like a trick. That's why I don't like having multiple quarterbacks, Robert, because it's going to feel that way. It doesn't feel right. It's like, that's why I always use dance with the girl that you came to the party with. It don't feel right to walk into a party with a girl, y'all locked arms. You come in, y'all kissing. Oh, yeah, look at her, blah, blah, blah. And then you go over there because a girl got a prettier dress on that you think is prettier. And then all of a sudden you want to go over and flirt with her to see if you got a chance. To me, you wavering in the air. You got to be consistent on whatever you own. So if you had Pat Mahomes already and you picked up Fields, you just make your life more difficult. That's to me. So you're going to have to make that decision, bruh. So to me, I'm dancing with the girl that I came to the party with. So if I drafted Mahomes, I'm playing Mahomes. If I drafted Fields, I'm playing Fields. Now, after 4 weeks, after you've been in a relationship with somebody for a while and it ain't working out, you have the right to leave in a respectful way. You have the right to go, okay, listen, Mahomes, you had 4 weeks, you ain't done anything. Justin Fields has balled 3 out of 4 weeks. I'm going with Justin Fields from now on. That's how my mind assesses things, how I use my Occam razor. I just keep it simple. If somebody been disrespectful or ain't been putting out what they supposed to put out, I'm moving on. But I'm going to give them a chance before I do that. So give Mahomes a chance before you move on and start flirting with other players and putting them over him off of 1 week. Harry says, I set Love, so I have Rodgers and Stafford left. Who would you start, Rodgers or Stafford? I would start Rodgers. I would start Rodgers over Stafford. Wait, what? Wait, what says Knicks in 6, baby? Let's go. Catch took over, says, what up, fam? Dynasty full PPR. Start Zay Flowers over A.J. Brown, Ladd, Breach, or Garrett Wilson. You got to start Zay. But I'm gonna rank these guys for you so you can have a situation. I'm gonna rank them, and the ranking might be different than what I'm telling you. And it's not because I'm telling you two different things. You got to understand, Zay is a start. He played too good for him not to start. So you got to start him no matter what. We're not going to sit here and every week and try to go and pull new players out each week. We're going to play our studs. So if you show me you a stud, I'm going to trust it because you got Zay already. He balled out. But I'm going to rank him. Garrett Wilson got to be started. A.J. Brown got to be started and Ladd got to be started. Breach ain't got to be started. Breece ain't got to be started. So I'm gonna tell you, you got to start Zay Flowers, but you got all these players, bro. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to figure out what to do because I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't care how good Zay can put up 25 every single week, and I'm gonna always tell you, well, as long as Garrett Wilson is getting 10 targets, he needs to be started too. So you're gonna have to make these decisions. So it's gonna be between I'm gonna rank them: Garrett Wilson, Garrett Wilson, A.J. Brown, Ladd, then Zay. But Zay got to be started because of what he did last week. So you use that, do with that information whatever you think is good for your team. Sorry for the fruit salad, but it's a fruit salad question, not in a bad way. You got so many good players, man. I don't know which apple, oranges, bananas, grapes. You got a lot of good players there. Brinley says Ibuka or Montgomery or Tyreek at the flex. I'm going with Ibuka over Montgomery and Tyreek. Seth May says, flex Fanning or Waddle. Whew, man, I don't feel good about talking about no Fanning. I just can't go to a Miami Dolphins, so that's the reason. So I don't really care what Waddle does. I can't start. I need to see something good before I start starting these Miami Dolphins outside of Devon Achane. And me personally, I'm starting Tyreek, but that's me personally. So I'm going to go with Fanning for a safer floor. Aladdin, what's up, bro? He said Knicks or McCarthy. I'm going with Knicks, dancing with the girl that you came to the party with. I'm playing Knicks. Let's give him 2 more weeks. This week and another week. Jack Conley says, what up? 4 PPR, pick 2 to start. Ladd, Nico, Kyron, or Chase Brown. I'm starting Chase Brown and Kyron. Listen, Nico and Ladd needs to be started, but you might be in an 18 league, so I get it. But I'm starting Chase Brown and I'm starting Kyron. You got to start those top end running backs. Those are top 12 running backs. Let's see. Seth May says flex Walker or Captain Charbonnet. Captain Charbonnet. Karen says Charbonnet or Hampton standard league. I'm going with Hampton in a standard league. B. Growing says pick one wide receiver and one flex between Pickens, Keenan Allen, Walker, and Sampson. One wide receiver would be Pickens, and the one flex would be Sampson if Judkins doesn't play. But if Judkins plays, it's okay to play Keenan Allen too. So you're going to have to make a decision between Keenan Allen and Sampson. But to me, the deciding factor would be if Judkins plays. B. Growing says Evan Ingram or Jawan. I'm going with Jawan. Paul Luck says start DK revenge game. I do like DK. But again, I can't tell you to start DK over Jamar Chase, and I'm using it as just a blanket statement. I'm not starting DK just over no Ibuka when you have all these guys on your team. You have to consider that. That's why I'll tell y'all, and if you're new to the channel, having a deep bench will get you beat. You don't need a deep bench. You have to consolidate. Because if you don't, you're going to be every week, you're going to be asking. And this is how I hear it. Even though y'all don't ask this question, this is what I hear a lot. TD, should I start Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson? TD, should I start Joe Burrow or Pat Mahomes? I'm like, why do you have that decision to make? It's one thing that you got a Butte, and then you got a wide receiver that's struggling, but like a Calvin Ridley. That's the questions. You shouldn't have all the same tier players. You shouldn't have Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, all on the same team, 3 wide receivers, because now you got to pick, and you better be a great picker, because I don't know. All I know is who's going to get targets. I don't know who's going to fall down and let a guy score for a 50-yard touchdown. I don't know about that. So you have to start your studs and be okay with that and consolidate these bench players to get a better player at another position. Brinley says Ingram or Fannin Jr. I would go with Fannin Jr. Paul says Hollywood Brown take is a joke. It might be a joke. Okay. This dude seems like he's never won a league with these takes. Let him say what he want to say, guys. Mike says, do you think some stadiums will hold tributes for Charlie? Yes. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the people do it themselves. I don't think so. I think the NFL want to stay out of that. They have players from different ethnic backgrounds, so they got to be careful with that. They went through that one time. I don't know if they want to get back in that again. DT says, thanks, bro. I appreciate you. Dealer says, TD, thoughts on Jalen Royal from the Kansas City Stasher Pass? Bro, I don't know what he's going to get this week, but he is a wide receiver out there. I think Hollywood is the guy, but let's see what Royal does. Let's watch him. Robert Christian says, this guy won me a championship 2 years in a row. Thank you, TD. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Martin Torres says, who I start at quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Pat Mahomes? I'm going with Pat Mahomes over Rodgers because Pat Mahomes don't have all his wide receivers, and Philly is excellent. And Philly is an excellent defense. Yeah, it is, but it's Pat Mahomes. You drafted him. You making that decision. That's the 2 cents. That's the thing I want to say. What's up, bro? That's my 2 cents on that. Like, why do you want to make it? So if Lamar Jackson lost Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers, I'm still starting Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to bench him. Now, if he give me 4 weeks of bad play, I can make that decision on a stud. I'm not making no decision on no stud off of 1 week. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to give it right back to you. Just like the boy talked about Hollywood Brown or whatever he wants to say. Sit Jamar Chase then. He gave you 5 points. Put Zay Flowers in front of him. But you don't want to talk about that. You need to look like that for all your players. You know there's guys on Jamar Chase tier. You got just Derrick Henry, you got CMCs. You don't ask, do you start those guys? You start those guys. And then after 4 weeks of them doing bad stuff, then you can go and make a decision to bring a lower tier guy in. But right now, I'm not gonna just look and try to be creative and say, well, play Aaron Rodgers over Pat Mahomes when Pat Mahomes had the pedigree and he has played without talent and still put up big numbers. Now, has he struggled? I don't want to call struggle. Has he not been putting up big numbers like he did early in his career the last year and a half? Yes, he has. But Aaron Rodgers is an older quarterback. I don't think he's just going to go out there and throw for 4 touchdowns every week. Pat Mahomes gives you a nice floor of 50 to 60 yards rushing. That's why I'm saying that. And then when he's running the ball, then he can flick it for Hollywood for a big play. That's why I said start Hollywood, bruh. That's why. And I don't care what the situation is, how it comes out. Now, Pat Mahomes didn't go for 3 points. Maybe it's a bad call. I don't see them going for 3 points against Philly. I don't see them going for 3 points against Philly. Martin Torres, what's up, bruh? 1,000. Dirtboy says, what's good, TD? Golf or Penance? Pickens or Keenan Allen? I'm going to play golf over Penance because he's playing against Minnesota, so it's going to be a big game to see how he plays against Minnesota. So I'm going to go with golf. Pickens or Keenan Allen, I'm going with Pickens. I think he got a little bit more upside, and it's a lot of mouths to feed for the Chargers. So I'm going to go with Pickens over Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is a safe PPR guy. So if you just want safe points, Keenan Allen is a great play. But if you want touchdown upside, Pickens can have 2 touchdowns. Jerry says Strange or Fannin Jr. I'm going with Strange. Fannin Jr. should have more targets, but Strange to me has touchdown upside. I think Njoku and those guys are the touchdown guys. So I think Njoku could have a touchdown, but I like Strange to have a touchdown. And that's why I'm putting him over Fannin. But Fannin is a safer PPR guy. Martin Castillo says start Evan Ingram or Schultz. The waiver wire ain't looking better either. I will go with Evan Ingram. That's tough. Let's see here. Kale says Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Devontae Adams pick 2. I'm going with Ricky Pearsall and Cortland Sutton. Robert says I'm in a 3-quarterback superflex league. I have Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, Fields, start 3. I'm going with Allen, Lamar. I think Fields has more upside than Mahomes. Mahomes is still Mahomes, but you in a different league, so you just really have to pick in this one. I don't want to be like, this is not a single quarterback league, so I just don't want to be disingenuous and tell you, well, dance with the girls that you came to the party with. This is actually, you got 3 quarterbacks that you got to pick from, and you actually got 4, and I get that. So I say Fields. You already got Allen Lamar, so it doesn't matter. So go with Fields with this one because you already got Allen Lamar there for the upside. You can get another upside player. You don't need to go with Mahomes when he doesn't have the upside, the rushing upside that Fields does in this situation. Sergio, he says, TD, good morning. What up, bro? God bless you for all the hard work you put in to help us keep on grinding. Question in the flex, would you go with Mason or Pearsall? I'm going with Pearsall. I'm going with Pearsall over Mason in a full PPR league. And standard or half PPR, I would go with Mason. Sal says, good morning. Would you start Warren or wait on Bowers? I would start Warren. Warren is, listen, I wouldn't wait on Bowers in this situation. Warren played great. Usually I'm playing Bowers automatically, but with the injury, Warren is Warren. You got that guy. Like if you had Travis Kelce, I'd be like, nah, I don't know. But you got Warren. He's nice. Peterson says start Jameson Williams over Genty today. Javonte Williams, no, start Genty. Start Genty. Dante Kelsey says Drake London a safe start. He's just as good a starter you can get. He's a starter. He's a big-time starter. He's a top 12 wide receiver. He had that shoulder injury and Mooney is back. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still Drake London. If he's active, bro, you have to play him. Kale says, you trust Burrow this week? I got no other choice but to trust him. It's Joe Burrow. It's Joe Burrow. Sal says, good morning. Would you start Warren or wait on bye? Okay, we did that one. Dill Roy says, dropping gems again. When you reference the real life talking relationship perspective. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Seth May says, flex 2, Hall, Ibuka, ETN. I would do Ibuka. I think I'm gonna go with Hall over ETN. ETN, guys, It looked good. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that every week. So I'm going to go with Hall, Ibuka and Hall. Ike says DK or Sutton. I'm going with Sutton. He's a safer play. I'm going with Sutton. I love DK. Both are starters, but I'm going with Sutton. He's got touchdown upside and he's safe. Juwan Allen, what's up, bro? He says golf for Herbert. I think I'm going with Herbert with all those weapons he got. I think I'm going with Herbert. Yeah, I'm going with Herbert. Seth Mate says Njoku, Fannin, Andrews, who to start? I'm starting Njoku over Fannin and Andrews for the touchdown upside. George says, what up, TD? Would you prefer the Cardinals, Cowboys, or Patriots defense? I would prefer the Cowboys defense, then the Cardinals, then the Patriots. Those are really good defenses too, Joel. Those are some top streaming defenses. Mike Shamhart says, gee, you think Jacksonville could be good in real and fantasy football? Fantasy football, I think they're going to struggle, man. Trevor Lawrence get it together. But I think they'll be good in real football because of their coach. George says, the Bills defense. I like the Cowboys defense and the Cardinals defense over the Bills this week. Robert Christian says, thank you, anytime. B. Silver says, what's your thoughts on Travis Hunter this season? I think he's just going to be a 6, 7, 800-yard type receiver who's going to make a couple plays for you. He may have some big-time weeks when he make a couple touchdowns, but that's what he's going to be, man. He's not really in full IDP. I think he's good because you can get those offensive points in the IDP position. But other than that, for fantasy purposes, I think he's just going to be maybe on the edge of a top 32 wide receiver. Does he go off today offensively? He could. Any week he could go off. All he needs is one play. That's all he needs. So you got to be willing to play that or not play that. Are you looking for that one play or you're not looking for one play? If you don't want to depend on one play to make your fantasy week, then I wouldn't worry about Travis Hunter. But if you okay with him having a one big play to get you fantasy points, which that's how he's going to have to play for fantasy, then yeah, I would say play him. His ceiling is 15 to 20 points. His floor is 5 points. That's what I would say. Dante Kelson says, thank you, TD. Appreciate you. Anytime. Jay Wan says, Pearsall or Butte. That's tough. Warren or Fannin? I'm going with Warren over Fannin. Appreciate you. That Pearsall or Butte. Woo-wee. Tomato. Both. That's even. I'm going to go with my pick of the week and say Pearsall, but I love Butte too. Butte is a star this week too. Big Growing Stuff says pick one, Pickens or Walker or Sampson. Pickens got the most upside, but Sampson has the better floor in full PPR. To me, if Judkins doesn't play, I would play Sampson over Pickens. But if Judkins plays, I will play Pickens. Last question of today before we get started. Before the game start. B. Silver says, I know you're not big on Pacheco, but is it smart to stash Kareem Hunt in case he gets the same output as last year? For touchdown upside, it's smart. For the touchdown upside. So, yes, I would stash Kareem Hunt in case something happens to Pacheco, but you're not going to get like 100-yard games. You're going to get a touchdown in 60 or 70 yards. If you're okay with that as a floor, if Pacheco's out, then, yeah, I would say stash him. St. August says, damn, bro, you've been looking for your channel. Okay. Yes, sir. Damn, bro. Been looking for your channel. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Sean. He says, I stash Hunt. White Boy says Hampton or ETN. I'm going with ETN over Hampton because ETN should have most of the carries today. He's a good back. But when it comes to elite guys, I like a lot of other elite guys over him, but not Hampton yet because Hampton doesn't have it by himself. Najee Harris should get more carries this week, but Hampton should be fine. I think Hampton has a floor between 7 to 10 points. I think low is 7 points for Hampton. He's going to catch a couple passes and he's going to have 30, 40 yards rushing. And if he break a big one, that'll be his fantasy week. Scott says, good morning, TD. I keep flip-flopping with my flex in tight end spots. I got either Henderson or Mason. I will go with Henderson for the upside over Mason. And my flex, Jawan Johnson or Ingram, I will go with Jawan Johnson for the targets. And he got touchdown upside. He's a 6'6 dude, too. Standard league, May is my quarterback. Yeah, so I'm going with Henderson, and I'm going with Jawan Johnson. So, looks like Judkins going to play. I think I just got an email that says Judkins going to play. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I'll see y'all guys later. Y'all be safe. Peace.